UFO Channel.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like if you could power your entire home with one small piece of technology? What about if that piece of technology was the size of a smartphone and took up next to no space in your house, pulling energy from the quantum vacuum? You could say goodbye to the days of paying your utility bills. Nikola Tesla famously said that no free energy device will ever be allowed to reach the market. Further to this, when Tesla had a car with antenna placed on it and was running it around town as the batteries charged themselves, J.P. Morgan reported to have told Tesla, "If we can't put a meter on it, we don't want it." In 1901, Tesla started building the Wardenclyffe Tower with funding from J.P. Morgan. Tesla hoped he would be able to create a wireless system to take the world off the grid. When Marconi beat Tesla to wireless radio transmission across the Atlantic, Tesla changed his plans for the tower. When J.P. Morgan learned of Tesla's plans for free energy, he immediately cut funding to the project. After all, Morgan was a titan of electricity in his own right, a Goliath in the copper industry, as well as being a capitalist whose work focused around profiting from others. In 1905, Nikola Tesla submitted a patent entitled The Art of Transmitting Electrical Energy Through the Natural Medium. Tesla had realized that the ionosphere was filled with electrical energy that could be easily tapped into. Seeing the world as one big electrical generator, Tesla believed that by using an appropriate medium, limitless energy could be harnessed from the magnetic poles which the planet centered around. Tesla wanted to condense trapped energy between the surface of the Earth and its upper atmosphere and transform it into an electrical current. The sun, to Tesla, was merely a ball of electricity, positively charged with potentially 200 billion volts. To the contrary, Earth was charged with negative electricity, and to Tesla, this force constituted what he called cosmic energy. To experiment and test his ideas, Tesla created the Tesla coil in Colorado Springs on Pikes Peak. On his quest for a wireless world unowned by a power grid, Tesla created electrical arcs that were essentially man-made lightning bolts. This lightning was seen for miles around and helped Tesla to prove that his invention could power light bulbs wirelessly. In 1931, Tesla claimed to have finally harnessed these cosmic rays in the Brooklyn Eagle, explaining that he had caused the rays to operate a motor device. He said, "More than 25 years ago, I began my efforts to harness cosmic rays, and I have succeeded. Electric power is everywhere, present in unlimited quantities. This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates in the universe, without the need for coal, gas, oil, or any other fuel." So why, after so much time has passed, do we still use metered linear energy sources to power our daily lives? Our household and workplace machines and most personal devices we use all still run on grid-provided electricity, instead of this apparent free energy, which was meant to be so readily available. Utilizing this energy would finally stop the global reliance on fossil fuels and nuclear power. However, from a macroeconomic stability perspective, this is their worst nightmare. 99.999% of people on the planet would benefit from this, leaving less than 0.001% of the population out of pocket. This is because that small percentage are the ones at the top of the petrodollar system in the macroeconomic order, where everything runs on metered linear energy, even solar power and wind energy. If you start a conversation about the phenomena of new energy, more precisely free energy, you are entering an overly sensitive area of compartmented intelligence in the history of the United States. We have not needed fossil fuels for around the last 100 years. At this point in history, the rapidly advancing theories and quaternion equations put forward by the likes of Tesla, Maxwell, and Faraday were interrupted. This has resulted in the energy sector of today relying heavily upon us burning or heating a material or substance to create steam to generate electricity or run our cars. The last 100 years has witnessed considerable developments in physics. Principles and elements that were not understood or even contemplated 100 years ago are now well interpreted. Pioneering scientists such as Tesla and Faraday were curious to know where all of the excess power was coming from. Professor Paul Dirac called it a Dirac Sea, while Tesla referred to it as the ocean of infinite energy. Today, it is known as the zero-point energy field. If you create this kind of vector in a zero-point energy field and you simultaneously create a counter-rotating vortex, which resembles a Sufi light phenomenon, you get what is called lift. This in turn results in what is known in physics as electrogravitics, or in popular culture, anti-gravity. What happens when a UFO moves straight up at a speed of 10,000 miles per hour, moving against gravity? Well, the UFO is actually in a space-time bubble, having created its own environment. There are no restrictions to normal aerodynamics, and things can lift and go straight up at these velocities. When an object reaches terminal velocity, it can become massless. During the time of Tesla, when alternative current, AC, was invented, they noticed this effect, where a certain amount of energy would go into a system and more energy would come out. This ideology was not accepted until a physicist named Hendrik Casimir published his findings in mainstream physics journals. His work proved there would still be energy in the universe even after cooling all of the atoms to absolute zero, thus proving the existence of the zero-point energy field. This very field was later found to be in all of the space that surrounds us every day. It is believed that every cubic centimeter of space has enough power to provide energy to the United States for one whole day. This energy field is so gargantuan. If we decided to run the planet from this energy source, it would be like taking 1 ounce of water out of the ocean. In the last 100 years, little has changed in terms of the geopolitical macroeconomic exigencies, and this is somewhat problematic. Not only are there bankers and kleptocrats that are misanthropic sociopaths, but there are also several stakeholders that do not want to deal with these changes. Even if you do not accept that in your paradigm, the inhumanity of keeping these sciences and technologies away from the public and the poverty that it engenders is beyond comprehension. For instance, electrifying the Indian subcontinent to provide everyone with all of the energy they need using the conventional energy systems of today would cost trillions of dollars. Every couple of years, there are around 1,000 new coal fire-burning power plants being opened in China, India, and elsewhere without scrubbers. In the Pacific Northwest of the United States, you have a huge amount of pollution that has drifted across from Asia due to the lack of scrubbers at the new plants. When you take a closer look at the cities such as Beijing and Shanghai, the air is almost not breathable at all there. One of the main reasons Nikola Tesla was interested in free energy was because he learned that there was a warming of the planet caused by man-made sources of atmospheric pollutants. Tesla may have been the first person to consider in detail the effects of this phenomenon now commonly referred to as global warming or the greenhouse effect. It is not just the air that is becoming more polluted. If you look at the oceans, you have instances such as Fukushima reactor releasing radioactive material into the ocean, in addition to CO2. Ecosystems in the ocean are continuously beginning to die because of the acidity created by such pollutants, causing alkaline levels to be disrupted. All of these are macro geophysical effects currently ongoing while we try to maintain the current macroeconomic order in the world, and this is problematic. So why doesn't someone fix it? It is all rather perplexing and the question at the forefront of many minds. People question why Bill Gates doesn't tackle it or why the president doesn't try to do something about it. But why does it always have to be someone else? If you go to a billionaire, the likelihood is that they will tell you that they want to be first to be second. a common expression in business, especially around controversial sciences. Nobody wants to be the first to stick their neck out, so it becomes a leadership issue.
If you would like to continue to grow your mind, please push the subscribe button